I cannot tell you how many great celebrities that have money, that have prestige, that have followers on Instagram, and they try to launch a collection and they're not successful. And if you think that you're going to go online and sell online, like, oh, I'll just put it online, everybody's buying online, there is not a single online retailer that is profitable. At the end of the day, the consumer needs the experience with the brand. They need to touch it, they need to feel it, they need to know how it fits. And once they have the consumer experience, they will go online and buy. People always ask me, well, Mercedes, does it take money or does it take talent? And let's face it, that story about Tyler, he had no talent, right? The common denominator on the brands that are successful are the ones that don't give up, are the ones that keep getting at it. They make corrections, they adjust, they interpret things differently, they try it again. So the other thing I find from this type of designer, that nothing is ever their fault. It's always the fault of somebody else, the fault of the factory, the fault of the fabric maker, the fault of the buyer not understanding their product, the fault of somebody else. And when it comes to like a smallest problem, then the world completely ends. I wish, honestly, I wish I had some video of like meltdowns that I've had from designers in my office. It's like a Mexican soap opera where they throw themselves on the floor and they cry and their fabric is wrong and it's late. And if you can't, if you've been in production, you know what I'm talking about. Everything goes wrong. So if you are this person that, and in Spanish we have a saying that says, you drown in a glass of water. If you drown in that glass of water and don't see the big ocean, this is not a business for you. It definitely is not. Oh, this is another one that I love. Everybody hates them. Oh, my competitors, everybody's copying me. Trust me when I'm telling you, nobody knows who you are. So that's not even an issue, okay? Let's talk about pricing and placing a little bit. It is so important to study your consumer first. So notice the word, I said study and not sell to. It is important from the beginning, from today, from yesterday, from the first moment you had a thought, to open a social media account with your brand name. So now people are like, well, I don't have anything to post, I don't have any pictures to post. That's not important. The idea right now is that you're listening, you're not talking. No matter of status or education, we're looking at their value.
Not so many things are essential for running successful fashion brands. But as far as Mercedes Gonzalez is concerned, excellent photography and packaging top the list.
I don't know, this woman looks like she's hiding behind a chicken wire and this one loves her furniture too much. Like this is not, and if you just go back, I mean, you can have furniture, you can have this lifestyle picture, but they're completely different. And this is the difference between having professionals working and having amateurs working. And this is where you cannot be cheap on the money because remember, we have to sell that fantasy. So think about perfume companies. You know when you look at like a Vogue magazine and you see an ad for perfume, they're selling you something that for you ultimately to like it, you need to smell it. But from that picture, you've already made a decision that I want this. So is it the packaging, is it the mood, is it the environment? All of those things have to come together when we do our photography. And a good picture is worth $1 million.
Right?
Yeah, it is. And I know that sometimes, you know, we think that our friend is so pretty and we use her, and then our son who's really good with taking phone pictures with his iPhone, you know, it has to be professional. And in marketing, they say that we're not selling the picture of the steak, we're selling the sizzle. And there's actually two types of photographies that I'm going to show you examples of, but it's really important to have them. The lookbook is where we're going to express the DNA of the brand, the emotion of the brand, the image of the brand, the lifestyle of the brand. The line sheets are what we're going to use for selling. They're the ones that are going to have the information, the price points, the delivery dates, the colors that it comes in. The email marketing is probably the best and least expensive way to start doing your sell, and then through your website.
With some of the
After the seminar, some selected fashion designers share and discuss lessons learned from the session, highlighting principles that have worked for them while not leaving out danger zones and pressure points in the industry.
The problems we have here is production, the skills. You know, every designer here, I'm sure will agree with me, that one of the major problems we have is people who are going to bring to birth whatever we have designed. The dressmakers also see themselves as designers, and they're ready to work for you for 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, and they can leave without telling you in the middle of work. So that is the problem we have. That's a problem that has not up till now been addressed. I understand from what I've been hearing that abroad you have where you can, even if you don't know how to do a thing, you just give us an example of somebody who cannot stitch a button and is a very successful designer. Here it will be very difficult to do that because where do you go to? Who do you take it to?
I think that in all that has been said today, there's so much wealth of knowledge that if you apply in this country we are in today, if you offer the same service as the next person, but you have better customer service, you have more customers. If you do the exact same thing, if you're even slightly worse than them technically, you probably still have more customers because of customer service. So things that you talked about, lookbook, not to present things like that. It's important your customers, what do they do? How do you know them? How do you pinpoint them? How do you use that as a point? I was telling a colleague of mine, when business is slow, I put a very nice picture that I have made of a suit on Instagram, and I get 20 inquiries. And I have 75,000 followers. I can't pay for the days I have 1 million followers. So I think I'm just adding on to that. I've picked a lot from there. I'm going to utilize the ones that concern me in my business. I don't do ready to wear. I don't do retail. It was great information. I've been invited to go to Magic before. I asked what it was for. It didn't make sense to me at the point in time. It still doesn't make sense to me business-wise to go to Magic. Except I just want to see what's going on there. So I think it was great information. I think all we should do, don't take things literally, please. I spoke to somebody just now, she said, oh, Instagram is also important. And we said it. Yes. I'm like, no. Don't take things literally and just, she said this. No. Like a comment we were saying about the t-shirts.
Yes.
And putting the brand name on it. I swear if I put my attack on the t-shirt in Nigeria, it will sell because I have a brand.
Yes.
But when no one knows your brand and you put it on the t-shirt, sorry.